My dearest child, listen well. You know that feeling when you are sitting somewhere ordinary, maybe at a kitchen table with a cup of coffee that has gone cold, or in a parked car outside a place you do not want to go into yet, and something inside you just quietly says, I am so tired. Not the tired that sleep fixes, the other kind. The kind that lives in your chest and has been there so long you almost forgot what it felt like to not carry it. That is the person I am speaking to right now. Not a polished version of you. Not the version of you that holds it together in public and answers fine when someone asks how you are doing. The real one. The one who lies awake at 3 in the morning running through conversations that already happened and worrying about ones that have not. The one who has been trying so hard for so long that trying itself has started to feel exhausting.
In the comments
I see that
right
person.
now.
And I need you to know that
Not
who you
later.
are in those quiet,
Not
honest
after you
moments is
finish
exactly
reading.
who I had in mind
Right
when
now,
I
this
prepared
is
what
not
I am
just a
about to
comment.
release into
This
your life.
is your signature
Because
in the
something is
heavenly
changing.
realms.
Not in some vague
This
far
is you
off,
agreeing
maybe
with what was
someday
already
ray.
decided
Right
about
now,
your life
in the
before you
actual
even woke up
circumstances
this
of your
morning.
life. In the relationships,
The
the
angels assigned
finances,
to
the
your case have
opportunities,
been waiting for
the
this
sense of
signal.
direction
They
that has
cannot
felt murky
move
for
until
longer
they
than
see
you
your
can fully
response.
explain. The ground
Type
beneath the hard season you have been
777
walking through
now.
is shifting,
Then
and the
keep
shift is
reading,
moving in your
because what
favor in
comes
ways
next
you are
will
about to
explain
start seeing
everything
with
you
your
have
own
been
eyes.
feeling lately.
If you have been feeling like you needed to hear
You wake
something
up at
today,
strange hours.
something that would reach past
Do you
the
not?
noise and land in the
2
real
a.m.,
place inside
3
you,
a.m.,
then stay
4
with me.
a.m.
Press the
Your
like
mind
button right
races
now as
with
a simple
thoughts
act
you
of
cannot
openness.
control.
You are not just
Your
watching
chest
a video.
feels tight like
You are
someone is
standing at
sitting
a
on it.
threshold, and I want you to
lie
cross
there
it with
in the
your
dark,
whole heart.
wondering
Let
if
me
your
tell you what I
prayers
know
are
about
even
you,
getting past
not
the
because I
ceiling.
have read your file
You
or tracked your
question if I
history,
still hear
but
you,
because I know
if I
what it
still
looks like
see
to be
you,
someone who has carried something
if I
alone
still
for a long
remember the
time.
promises
You have been
I
the strong
made to
one.
you years ago when you first
You have been the
believed.
person other people come
You
to when they
count the
need to be
ceiling
held
tiles.
together, when they
You
need
replay
advice,
conversations.
when they need someone who will
You
not fall
rehearse
apart in a
arguments.
crisis. And
You
you have shown up
imagine
for them
worst-case
genuinely and
scenarios.
faithfully,
And the
even on the
anxiety
days when you
builds until
yourself
you
were
feel
falling
like you
apart on the
cannot
inside.
breathe.
You have sat with
You
other
check
people
your
in their
phone
hard
hoping for
moments
distraction.
and listened well and
But
said
all
the
you
right
find
things,
is more evidence
and then
that
gone home
everyone
and
else
sat
is
alone
living
with
the
your
life
own
you
hard
prayed
moments.
for.
And had no one
During
to say
the
the right
day,
things
you
to you.
function,
That is
you
a particular
smile.
kind of
You
loneliness.
tell people you
It
are
is not the
blessed and
loneliness
highly
of being
favored.
physically alone, though
But
you may have
inside,
experienced that
there
too.
is a weight
It is the
that never
loneliness of
lifts,
being surrounded
a
by people
sadness
who
that
need
has
you
no
but not
name,
quite seen by
a
anyone,
loneliness that exists
of being known
even
for your
when you are
strength,
surrounded
but
by
not for your
people who
struggle,
claim
of
to
giving
love
and
you.
giving and
You
giving and
post the good
quietly
moments
wondering
on
if there will
social
ever be a
media.
moment when someone
You
shows
delete
up and
the
gives
photos
something
that
back
show
to you.
what you really feel inside.
I am answering that question now.
You caption
the
your
answer
life
is
with
yes,
scripture
and the
and
one
worship
showing up
lyrics
is me.
while your
Type
heart
amen in the
whispers
comments
that
if you have
maybe
ever
God
been that
forgot
person.
about you.
The
Maybe
one who
you
holds
prayed
everyone
wrong.
else together.
Maybe
Let
you
someone
did not
see you
have
for
enough
once.
faith.
I want
Maybe
to
you
talk
are the
about a
exception
specific
to
thing
his
that happened to you
promises.
somewhere along the way. There was
3
a
years
moment
ago,
or maybe a series of
something
moments
happened that changed
when you
you.
stopped fully believing
Someone
in the
you
good things you
trusted
used
with
to
everything
imagine for your
betrayed
life.
you without warning.
It was not a
Someone
dramatic
you thought
decision.
would never leave
It did not
walked
happen
away
all at
without
once.
looking
It happened
back.
gradually,
Someone
quietly,
you
the way a
sacrificed
light
or
fades
chose
when you are
something
not paying
else.
close attention
Someone
to it.
else over you.
One day you woke up and realized
you
that
have
the
not
hopes
been
you
the
used to
same
hold
since
without
that
effort
day.
now
You
required
buried
conscious work
parts
to
of
maintain.
yourself that
You had to remind
afternoon.
yourself to believe.
Dreams you used
and
to
eventually,
talk
on the
about.
hardest days, even the
Hope
reminding
you
stopped
used to
working.
carry the ability to
Maybe it
believe
was a
that good
relationship
things
that
could
ended in a way
actually
that took
happen to
more from you
someone
than
like
just
you.
the relationship. Maybe
You
it was a
started
financial
protecting
situation
yourself,
that turned what
building
should have been a
walls,
stable chapter into
keeping
a survival
people at a
chapter.
distance because getting
Maybe it was a
close
door you
only
expected
leads
to open
pain.
that stayed closed so long
There is
you
pain in
eventually
your
stopped
body that
knocking.
doctors
Maybe it was a
cannot
combination of
diagnose.
smaller things.
Tests
None of them
come back
catastrophic
normal,
on their
but
own.
you know something
But
is
together
wrong.
they added up to a
Fatigue
weight that
10
changed the way
hours
you
of
moved
sleep
through your
does
own
not
life.
fix.
You became more careful,
Headaches that
more
medicine
guarded,
will
more
not
hesitant
touch.
to hope too much in
This
case
is
the
not
hoping
just
itself
physical
cost you something.
exhaustion.
Here
This
is what I
soul
need to say to
weariness
that
from
version of
carrying
you.
burdens
The careful,
you were never designed
guarded,
to carry
quietly
alone.
tired version
You
who
stopped
is reading
praying
this right
certain
now.
prayers
That is not
because
who
the
you were built to
disappointment
be.
became
That
unbearable.
carefulness was a
You
response to
stopped
pain,
asking for
and it served a
specific things
protective
because
purpose.
silence hurt
But it
more
was
than
never
not
meant to be
asking at
permanent.
all. You
It
watch
was a
other
winter
people
coat,
testify
not a
about their
second
miracles,
skin, and the
you
season that
genuinely
required it is
celebrate with
ending.
them.
What if the reason you feel
But
stuck
inside
has
you
less
are
to do with
wondering
your
what is wrong
circumstances
with
and
you?
more to do with something
Why
happening at the
them and
level
not
of your
you?
mind
What did you
that no
do
one
that
has ever properly
disqualified
explained to
you
you?
from the
Research from
breakthrough?
some of the world's leading
What sin did you
neuroscientists,
commit that put
including
you
work
outside
originally
the reach of
developed in
heaven's
collaboration
favor?
with elite intelligence
bills keep
research
coming.
programs, has identified a
problems
specific
keep
internal
multiplying.
state that separates people who
relationships keep
consistently
failing,
attract
and
breakthrough
you are
from people
tired
who
of
keep
fighting.
working hard
Tired
without
of
seeing
believing.
real movement. A
Tired of
7-second
hoping
daily
for something
practice is helping
different when
thousands of
everything
people
stays the
activate that
same.
state and begin
But I need you to
experiencing
hear
shifts
this.
in their finances,
Your breakthrough
their
has been
relationships,
ready for
and their
40
sense of what
days.
is possible.
Not
People
coming,
who were buried
not
in
on
debt
the
are
way.
getting free.
Ready,
People who
finished,
had lost
complete.
faith in their own futures are
Waiting
stepping
for
into
the
homes and
precise moment
opportunities
when
and
heaven
lives
and earth align
they had
for
stopped
maximum
believing were meant
impact
for
in your
them.
life.
This might not stay available for
Your
long.
guardian angel
The link
has
is in the
been
description
standing
and in the
before my
comments.
throne every
Look at it
single
before it
day
is gone.
presenting your case,
Now I want to
filing
talk to you about the
reports,
people who were supposed to
showing
be
me
there
your
for you,
tears,
and were
playing
not,
back your
because this
midnight
is the part that
prayers,
does not get talked
reminding
about enough.
me of my
The
promises over your
disappointment of
life.
strangers is manageable,
And yesterday
but the
at
disappointment
exactly
of people who should have
11:34 in
known
the
better,
evening,
who should
I
have
released
chosen
the
you,
decree.
who should have
I
stayed.
dispatched
That
Michael,
kind of
not a
disappointment
lesser
goes
angel,
deeper.
not
It does
a
not just
messenger.
hurt your feelings.
Michael
It teaches you things
himself,
about yourself that are not
the
true.
one who cast down
It tells
the
you that you are
accuser,
not worth staying for.
the one who stands
that you are
in my
easier to
presence
leave than
and
to fight
executes
for.
my commands
That the love you
without
offer is not
hesitation
enough
or
to make
delay.
people choose
He
to
is
remain.
moving on
If
your
someone
behalf
taught you
right
that,
now,
I am
cutting
telling
through
you
every
now that they were
barrier,
wrong.
every delay,
The failure was theirs,
every
not
demonic
yours.
resistance that
The
has
leaving
been
said
blocking
something
your
about where they
breakthrough.
were, not about your
You
value.
may be feeling
And I know it is
something
easier to say
unusual in your
that than to
body
believe
right
it,
now.
especially
A warmth
when the
spreading
evidence of their
across your
choice is something
chest,
you lived through,
a
not something
tingling
you
in
read
your
about.
hands,
But I am going to
pressure
spend the
across
rest
your
of this speaking
forehead.
directly to that wound,
This is not
because
a
healing it
medical
is not
condition.
optional. It
This
is
is the
required for what
manifest
is coming.
presence
You
of the
cannot
Holy
receive a
Spirit
full life
drawing
while
near to
holding
you.
on to the
This
verdict
is the
that a broken
anointing
person
that
left
breaks
on you.
yokes and
Type
destroys burdens.
777 in the comments
This
if
is
someone
cellular
left you when they should have
activation as
stayed.
your physical body
You are not alone in
responds
that,
to
and
spiritual
that chapter is
frequency.
closing.
If you feel
The
led
healing
to
I am
support
bringing
this
into your life
ministry that
starts in the
brought you
place
this
where the
word
damage
today.
actually is. Not
There
in
is
your
a way to
circumstances,
plant a
not
seed
first
through
anyway,
the link in the
but in the
comments.
story you have been telling yourself
But
about what your
understand,
circumstances mean
this is
about
not
you.
payment for
Because
a
here is
message.
what happens
This
when a
is you
person goes through
partnering with
real
the
hardship.
movement of
The
heaven.
hardship leaves an
This
interpretation
is you
behind.
declaring that you believe
And that
what has
interpretation
been
becomes
spoken
the
over your
lens through
life
which
enough
everything
to
that
sow into
follows
the
gets
ground
filtered.
where your harvest is
You start
growing.
reading neutral
Those who
events
gave
as
last
confirmation
week are
of
already
negative
messaging
things. A
about
delayed
unexpected
opportunity
checks,
feels like proof
debt
that you are not
forgiveness,
meant for good
and
things.
supernatural
A
provision.
relationship that ends feels like
When you
evidence
give with
that you
a
are
pure
hard to
heart,
love. A
heaven
financial struggle
responds with
feels
an
like a
open
sign
hand.
that abundance
Right
is for
now,
other
type
people,
amen if you
not for
receive
you.
this word.
I am dismantling that
algorithms
interpretive
and the
framework.
angels both
I am
see
replacing
your
the
agreement.
lens. Not with a
Your
naive
voice
one
in the
that
comment
pretends
section
difficulty
is
does
not
not
just
exist,
interaction.
but with an accurate
It
one
is
that sees your
activation.
value correctly,
It is you giving permission
that reads
for what has
setbacks
been
as
released in the
redirections
spirit
rather
to
than verdicts,
manifest
that
in the
understands
natural.
that the story of your life
I
is
want
not
to
over,
tell you what
and
happened
that the
in
chapters that
unseen
hurt were
realm
not
while
the
you were
chapters that
sleeping
defined
last
you.
night. While
You
were
are going to
tossing
begin
and
to
turning,
notice this
fighting
shift in the way your
anxiety
mind
and fear.
processes things.
There
Where
was
you
a
used to immediately
confrontation
jump to
taking
the
place
worst
in the
case reading of
heavenly
a
courts
situation.
that
You
directly
will find yourself
concerned your
pausing,
future.
breathing, considering that there
The
might be
enemy
another
held an
explanation.
emergency council.
And in that
he
pause,
gathered his most
something new
powerful
becomes
demons,
possible. A
the
decision made from
principalities
stability rather
assigned
than
to your
fear.
region,
A response
the spirits
chosen
that
rather
have
than a
been
reaction
tracking your
fire.
bloodline for
A version of you
generations.
that is not
He
run
showed
by
them
what
the
happened to
decree
you,
that was
but guided
released
by what
over
you
your
actually
life.
want. Here is
And
something
for
I
the
want
first
you to
time in
picture.
years, I saw
Think of
fear
someone
in
you
his
know,
eyes.
or someone you have seen
He saw
from a
what is
distance.
coming for you,
Someone who
and he
seems to move
panicked.
through
He
life with a
called
lightness
his
that you have
highest-ranking
envied.
officers
Not the shallow
and told
kind of
them to
lightness that
increase
comes
the
from never
pressure
having faced
immediately,
anything hard,
to attack
but the
your
deeper
mind with
kind that
doubt,
comes from having
to
faced
flood your
something
emotions
genuinely
with
hard and come
depression,
through it. You
to
have
hit
looked
your
at that
body with
person and wondered
sickness,
what they know that
to
you do
destroy
not.
your relationships,
What you are
to
about
cut
to
off your
discover is that that they do not know something
to make
you do
so
not.
tired that you
They simply
quit right
arrived
before
at
the
some
finish
point,
line.
at the end of their hard
That is why
season,
this
and you
week
are
has
arriving
felt
at yours.
heavier than usual.
That lightness is not
That
a
is why
personality
you have
trait
been
you
hit
either
from every
have or do
direction
not
at
have.
once. That is why
It is
the
what
attacks
happens when
have
the weight you have been
intensified
carrying
and
gets lifted.
multiplied.
And the lifting is
That
what
is
is
why
happening
you have
right
been
now in your
bombarded
life.
with bad news,
Not in some abstract
unexpected
spiritual dimension
problems,
that you cannot feel.
financial emergencies,
In the actual
and
lived texture
emotional
of your
warfare.
days, you are going
The
to start
enemy knows
waking up
what is
differently.
coming.
Not
and
all
he
at
is
once,
trying
but
to break
progressively,
you before you see
like
it
a room
manifest.
slowly brightening as the sun comes
But he
up.
made a critical mistake.
There will be mornings when you
revealed his
realize
hand
that
too
the first
early.
thought you
He
had
does
was
not
not a worry,
understand
that your
the
chest
very
feels
thing
less
meant to
tight than it
destroy
did a
you
week
is
ago,
actually the proof
that something
your
you were dreading
breakthrough is
passed through without the
dangerously
damage
close.
you anticipated. If
The
you feel
storm
that
is not
starting
evidence
already,
that you are cursed.
if something
The
in you is
storm
beginning to
evidence
loosen,
that you are about
share
to
this
step
with
into
someone who
something
needs
so
to hear
big
it right
that
now.
hell itself is terrified.
Think of one person in your life
You
who
do
has been
not go through
carrying
the
something
enemy's
alone.
worst attack
Send
on the
this
day
to them.
nothing is
That act
happening.
of seeing
You
someone
go
else in their
through it on the
struggle
day
might be the most
everything is
important
about to
thing you do
change.
today. I want to address the
warfare is
financial
not
pressure
random.
specifically,
It is strategic.
because I know for many of you
And
that
the
is where the
intensity
weight
of
is
the
most
attack
concrete.
is directly
It
proportional
is one thing
to
to
the
talk about
magnitude of
emotional
the blessing
healing and
that is
spiritual
about to be
restoration in
released.
general
When
terms.
Michael
It
received
is another
his
thing to be
assignment
looking
from
at a
my
bank
throne,
account that does not have
he
enough
did not
in it,
hesitate.
or a pile of
He did
bills
not
that feels
debate.
like an accusation,
He did not need
or a job
time to
situation
prepare.
that is draining more
He
from you
simply
than
drew
it is
his
giving
sword
back.
and went
That
to
kind
work.
of pressure
He
is
went
not
straight
abstract.
to the demonic
It sits on your
princes that have
chest
been
when you are
blocking
trying to
your
sleep.
finances for
It
years.
follows you into conversations
The
where
ones
it has no
assigned to
business
your
being.
bank
It
account.
makes it hard to be
The
fully
ones
present with the
whispering
people
lies
you
about
love
your
because
future.
part of your
The
mind is
ones
always doing the
replaying your
math.
past failures on
I am
a
not
loop in
dismissing
your
that
mind every
reality.
time you try to
I am
move
addressing it
forward.
directly.
He
The
confronted
provision
them
that is
with the
coming into your
authority
life
of the
is not
blood of
symbolic.
Jesus.
It is
and the
practical,
power of my
and it is
spoken
real,
word.
and it is
And
moving
he
toward you
shattered
right
their
now.
assignments over
Things
your
that have been
life.
blocked are being unblocked.
The contracts
Opportunities
they
that seem
thought
to
they
have
had
passed
with
are
your
circling back in
bloodline
new
have been
forms.
canceled.
People
The
who have
legal
the ability
rights
to
they
open
claimed
doors for
through
you are
past
being brought across your
generations have
path,
been revoked.
not by accident,
The
but by
access
design.
points they
The
used
financial
to
pressure
torment
that
you
has
have been
defined this
sealed
season is
shut.
not your permanent condition.
Right now,
It is a
in
circumstance
this
you walk
exact
through,
moment,
and you are walking
chains
out
are
of it.
breaking in the spirit
But I
realm,
also want to be
not
honest with you
loosening,
about
breaking.
this. The shift in your finances
Doors that have
begins
been
with a
locked
shift in
since
how you
were
see
born
yourself
are
in relation to
swinging
money,
wide open.
in relation to your own
Connections
value,
that will change
in
your
relation to
entire
what you believe is
trajectory are being
genuinely
divinely
possible for someone like
orchestrated
you.
behind
Many
the
people
scenes.
remain stuck
People who
financially
hold
not
keys to
because
your
the
next
opportunity
level
is
are being
absent,
positioned
but
by
because something
invisible
inside them
hands to
flinches
cross your
every time
path at
abundance gets
exactly
close,
the right time.
as if they do not quite believe they deserve
Conversations are
it,
being
as if having
arranged
more
in
would somehow be
boardrooms you
wrong.
have never heard
I am
of.
healing
Your
that
name
flinch.
is being
I am
mentioned
restoring
by
your
people
ability
you
to
have
receive
never
without
met.
guilt, to build without
Opportunities are being
self-sabotage,
created in
to have what
places
you have
did
been
not
praying
apply.
for without talking
This
yourself
is
back
not
out of
networking.
it. Type 1111 in
This
the
is not
comments if
luck.
you are ready to receive
This is
financial
divine
breakthrough.
orchestration.
Not
This
just
is the hand
emotionally
of God
ready,
moving pieces
actually
on
ready,
a chessboard
ready
you
to
cannot
stop
even
flinching
see.
and start building.
You
Now
need
I
to
want to talk
understand
about
something
loneliness,
crucial about
because
my
it is the
timing.
thing that rarely gets
What
named
looks like
directly,
delay to you
and
is
yet it is the
strategy
thing
to
that
me.
so many
What
of you have
feels
been
like
living inside
rejection
of.
to you is actually
Not the loneliness
protection
that looks
for
like
you.
being alone, the kind that
I do
looks
not
like a
move
full
on
life
your
from the
schedule.
outside,
I
a
do
busy
not
schedule,
operate on your
enough people
timeline.
around,
I
enough
move when
noise and
every
movement
piece
and
is in
obligation to
perfect
keep you
position.
occupied. And yet
I
underneath
move
all
when
of
the
it,
soil
a
is ready
persistent
for the
sense of
seed.
not being
I
truly
move
known
when
by
the
anyone,
womb is
of
prepared
performing
for
the
the
version
birth.
of yourself that
I
situations
move when
require while the
maximum
real
glory
version
can be
waits,
extracted
patient
from
and
the
unseen,
situation.
for a moment of
The
genuine
years you
connection
thought were
that keeps
wasted
getting
were
postponed.
actually preparation.
That loneliness
Every
is
closed
ending.
door
I am
was
bringing into
protecting
your
you
life the
from
kind of
something
connection
would
that
have
does not
derailed
require
your
you to
destiny.
perform. The kind of relationship
Every
where you do
unanswered
not have to
prayer was me
manage how you are
saving you from
perceived,
what you thought
where
you
you can
wanted.
say what is actually
But what
true
I
for
knew
you and
would
be met
destroy
with
you.
understanding
Every
rather than
delay was
judgment,
me
where your
developing
depth is not too
character in
much
you
for
that you will
someone but
need
is
for
exactly
where I
what
am
they have been
taking
looking
you.
for.
The pain
These
you
connections
thought
are
was
not
punishment
wishful
was
thinking.
actually
They are being
purification.
arranged. They
I
are
was
people I am
burning
walking
away
toward you
everything
who are
in you that
themselves
could not
arriving at
go
the end
where
of
you
their
were
own hard
going.
season, who have been
I was
shaped by
removing
difficulty
people
into the
who
kind
would
of
have
depth
betrayed
and
you at
honesty
the
that is
next level.
compatible with yours. The version
was
of you that
stripping
comes
away
out of this season is
mindsets that
going
would
to
have
attract different
sabotaged your
things than the
success.
version that went
I
into
was
it.
teaching you lessons
Not
in the
because you
valley
will
that
put
you
on a
could
new
never
performance,
learn on the mountain.
but because who you
The
genuinely
waiting you
are will
thought
be more
was
visible.
rejection
The
was
guardedness
actually
that pain
protection.
required is going to soften.
I was keeping you
The
hidden
walls that
until the
protected
right
you
moment.
when you were
I was
vulnerable
guarding you from
are going to become
opportunities
less
that looked
necessary
good
as the
on the
vulnerability
surface, but had
itself
poison
decreases.
underneath.
And as they
I was
soften,
closing doors
what is
that
real
you
in
begged
you
me to
becomes
open
accessible
because
to
I
people
could
in
see
a way
the
that it
trap
could
on the
not
other
be when
side
you were
that your
armored.
natural eyes could
What if
not
everything you have
perceive?
been through was not a
But
detour
now
from your
the
story,
season has
but the
shifted.
actual making
The
of
wait
it?
is
What if
over.
the struggle,
The
waiting,
preparation
the
is
losing,
complete.
the starting
The character
over?
has been
What if all of
formed.
it was not evidence that
lessons
your
have
life
been
went
learned.
wrong, but evidence
The
that it
wrong
is being
people have
written
been
carefully?
removed.
A story without
right
difficulty
people
has
have
no
been
weight.
positioned.
It does not move anyone.
The time has come.
It does not
and
carry
everything
anything
I have
that
been
can be
holding
passed
back
on.
is about to be
But a
released
story
all
about
at
someone
once.
who went through something
Not
real
a trickle.
and came out of it
A
changed.
flood.
who found their footing
Not just
after
enough
losing
to
it,
survive.
who held on when letting go
Abundance.
would have been easier.
Not barely
That story
making
has the
it
kind of weight
overflow.
that matters.
Not scraping
Your story
by
has
more
that
than
weight.
enough. Not
And the
just
next
for
chapter
you,
of it is one that
but
people
enough
are going
be
to
a blessing
recognize
to
as the
everyone
turning point,
connected
the
to
place
you.
where everything began to move.
In the next
Something
72
else I want you
hours,
to
you will
hear.
see tangible
You have been
evidence
carrying
of what
guilt
I am
about things that
speaking.
were not entirely your
This
fault,
is not
situations
motivation.
where you made the best
This is
decision you
not
could with
positive
what you
thinking.
had.
This is
But the
prophetic
outcome was still
declaration
painful,
based on
and
what
you
has
took on more
already
blame
been
than was
set in
fair.
motion in the realm
Relationships
of the
where you
Spirit.
gave genuinely,
Pay close
and it still did
attention.
not work. And somewhere
Watch
along the way
carefully.
you decided that the
Document
failure was more
everything
yours
that
than it was a
happens.
simple
You will receive a
incompatibility,
phone call you
or
were
a
not
matter of
expecting.
timing, or a
Someone
consequence
will
of
reach out who has
circumstances
not
neither of you fully
contacted you in
controlled.
months or
You have been
years.
paying a debt that
You
was
will
never
get an
entirely
email that
yours to
shifts
pay.
everything. You will
I am
have
releasing
a
you from that.
conversation that opens a door
The guilt is
you
not
thought
useful
was
anymore.
permanently sealed.
It did not protect anyone.
Money will show
It
up
did not
from
undo
sources
what
you
happened.
forgot
It only
about.
kept you from moving
A check
forward with
will
the full
arrive
weight
that
of
you
your
were
own
not
life behind
expecting.
you.
A debt
You
will
are
be
allowed to
forgiven
put
that
it
you
down.
thought
You are
would
allowed to
carry
accept
your
that you
grave.
did what you could,
An
that you were
opportunity
human,
will present
that the
itself
imperfection
that
of
you did
how
not
things
apply
unfolded
for.
does not make you a
Someone
person who
will offer
deserves
you
to carry
something
shame
that you did not
indefinitely.
ask for.
You did
This
enough.
will not make
You were
natural
enough.
sense.
And what is coming next
And you
does
will
not
not be
require
able
you
to
to have been
explain it
perfect
to
in what
people
came
who
before.
judge
There is
everything
research
by human
emerging from the
logic and
intersection of
natural
neuroscience and
reasoning. Your
behavioral
finances are
psychology
about to
that explains why
experience
some people are able to
supernatural
release guilt
intervention that
and
defies
move
every
forward,
economic
while others
principle
remain trapped
and
in it
contradicts
regardless of how
every
much.
financial
They intellectually
forecast.
understand that the guilt is
Money
not
that
serving
you were
them.
owed from
The
years
difference
ago
is
will
a
suddenly
specific
be
pattern of
released
brain
without
activity
warning.
that
Debts
either
you
enables
thought
or
you would
prevents
be
the kind of
paying until you
emotional
died
release
will
that
be
real forward
supernaturally
movement
canceled.
requires. A
Income
7-second
streams that
practice
you never
identified through
imagined
work tied to
from
some of the
sources you
most
never
rigorous
considered
scientific research
will begin to
institutions in the
open up
world
in your life
is
like
showing
springs
measurable
of water
results
in
in
the
helping
desert.
people shift out of that
Banks
stuck
that
pattern
rejected
and
you
into
will
a
call
state
with
where
approval.
genuine release and the
Opportunities
movement that
passed
follows
you
it
by
becomes
will circle
possible.
back around.
Thousands of people have
People
already
who owe you
experienced
will
what
suddenly
shifts when that
remember and
pattern
pay.
changes. The link where you can learn
Investments you
more
wrote
is in
off
the
as
description
losses
and in
will
the
recover
comments.
and multiply.
And it may not be there
This will not make
indefinitely. I
natural
want to close
sense
by
to
talking about
financial
hope,
advisors or
because I think
accountants.
hope is the thing that the
And you will
long,
not
hard
be
season
able to
damaged
explain
most
it to
quietly
people
and
who
most
measure
deeply.
everything by spreadsheets
Not your
and
ability to
market
function,
trends.
not necessarily
But
your
you will know in your
relationships or your
spirit.
circumstances,
You will know this is
though
me.
those may have been
You will
damaged
know
too.
this is answered
But your
prayer.
capacity to
You will know
genuinely
this
hope
is
without
covenant
immediately
faithfulness.
bracing for the hope to be
You
disappointed,
will know this is
to
the
imagine
reward
something
for
good for your
staying
future,
faithful when you
and let
could
the
not see
imagining
the way
feel
forward.
good rather than
And your
dangerous.
testimony will
That
become
capacity is
living
what I am
proof
restoring
that I
in
am
you
still
right
the
now.
God who does impossible
Not the desperate kind
things
of
for
hope that
people
clings
who
because
trust
it has
me
nothing
even
else,
when nothing
the open
makes
kind.
sense.
The
And
kind that does
everything
not
looks
need the
hopeless.
outcome to be
Before I
guaranteed
release
before it
you
is
from
willing
this
to be
word,
felt.
I
The
need
kind
you
that
to do
says this could
something.
actually be good and means
Hit the
it,
like
without a
button
silent
right now.
qualification running underneath.
This is not
You are
about
going to
helping
start
the
hoping
algorithm,
again.
though
And
it
the
does.
hope is not going
This
to
is
betray
about
you
you
this time
making a
because it is
public
not built on
declaration
circumstances
that you
that can
believe what
shift.
has been spoken.
It is built on something that does
This
not
is you
move,
staking
on a
your faith
faithfulness
on
that has
my
been present through
faithfulness.
every moment of the
Share
hard
this
season,
message
even when
with
you could
one
not
person.
feel it. On a
You
love that
already
counted every
know
night
who
you
it
cried
is.
yourself
Their
to
name
sleep and
came to
held
your
every
mind
prayer
while
you were
you
too
were
tired
reading
to
this.
finish.
You are
On
meant
a
to be
goodness
the
that did not
prophetic
abandon
voice
you
in
when
their
you felt
life
most
today.
abandoned. And
Your
is not
obedience
abandoning
could
you
be the
now.
thing that
Type yes
saves
in the
them from
comments if
giving
you are
up
willing
right
to hope
before their
again.
breakthrough.
If something in you
Subscribe
is ready
and
to
turn
stop
on
bracing and start
notifications so
opening,
you do not miss
let
what
that
is
yes
coming
be the
next.
sound of a door swinging
I am
wide in your own
releasing
heart.
deeper
The days ahead of
revelation
you are
and
not
more
going to look
powerful
like the days
words that
behind
you
you.
need to hear.
The people coming into
This
your
is
life
not
are
the
not
end.
going to treat you
This
the way
is
the
the
ones who
beginning.
hurt you
Your
did.
life
The
is about to
opportunities
become a
moving toward you are
testimony
not
that
going to
makes no
disappear
sense
the way
to
the ones
people
you
who do
missed
not
did.
know me.
Something genuinely
They will
new is
ask
beginning.
how.
And it is
They
beginning
will
now
ask
in this
where.
moment, in the life
They will
of the
try
person
to
reading
find the
these
logical
words. You have been through
explanation for
enough.
what is supernatural.
You have waited long
but
enough.
You do not
You have held on
owe
through enough.
anyone an
The season season of carrying what was too heavy for one person is over, and what replaces it is not more of the same wrapped in different circumstances. It is something you stopped letting yourself fully imagine because imagining it hurt when it did not come. But it is coming. It is already in motion, and you are exactly ready for it, refined by everything you survived into the version of you who can receive it fully and hold it well. This is your moment, not someone else's, not someday now. Walk into it. It was always meant for you. Go ahead and share this with someone you know who is in the middle of a hard season right now. Not because they need to be fixed or told what to think, but because sometimes the most powerful thing one person can do for another is simply make sure they do not feel alone. A single share from you could reach someone who has been waiting weeks for something that would land in the real place inside them. Be that person for someone today, and as you go into the rest of this day, carry this with you. The version of you that was defined by what you endured is not the final version. The version being built right now, in the rubble of everything that did not work out, in the quiet of everything you survived, that is the one that was always meant to show up. And it is showing up in you today, in this moment that you were always meant to find.